All right, guys, let's look at mount, okay? One of the most famous pins in Jiu-Jitsu. Very useful, very effective. However, if you have a good elbow escape, it's quite easy to get out of. An elbow escape is probably the most fundamental and useful move in Jiu-Jitsu. It's pretty much a hip escape, but having the right details to use, when to use it, how to stay safe in it, which we're going to look at now in mount, allows you to really make the most of this fundamental move in many, many positions. So Paul has me in mount. Okay, Paul has me in mount. First things first, I do not want to let him get an underhook and start climbing my hand up high. If I end up in this, which is called extended mount, okay, I'm in big trouble. It's not where I want to be. So I want to make sure my arms are close to my neck, and ideally my elbows are inside his knees. If he's quite tight here, or let's say if he's high, he's got a high mount, I want to frame on his hips, still trying to keep as tight as possible. I'm not opening my arms, I'm not pushing away like this. I'm staying nice and tight, and I'm going to push here and kind of shoulder walk until I can get my elbows inside. Now from here, we're going to do an elbow escape. But what we don't want to do when we do our elbow escape, okay, is come here, push on his knee, and leave this massive gap for him to get underhook. Okay, that's the last thing that we want. So what we're going to do with our elbow escape is we're going to do what's called a rising bridge, similar to the one in side control, where we're going to come all the way onto one shoulder. And the reason we do this, let's angle this way just so people can see. Okay, the reason we do this is so we can get the inside of our palm on the inside of his knee. This way, we're able to push his knee to recapture a guard, but we don't get an underhook. We don't expose ourselves. So this is what it looks like. I do my bridge, I come on one side, and look, I get the inside of my hand, okay, here. Versus if I'm doing this, there's just so much exposure for an underhook. It's not what I want. So I bridge, my elbow is like underneath me, and now I put both my hands on his knee, okay? I push, I straighten my bottom leg, I push, and I use my right leg to capture his ankle. So let's just angle a little bit so people can see that. So we're here. I push, okay, straighten this leg. So I was like this. I straighten, I capture his ankle, and now from here, I lift my knees to the roof, which raises his knee. I push it again. I get half guard. I have an underhook, okay? Or if you feel like you can, they don't have a lot of pressure, I can hip out again, okay, and get to close guard. So that's how we do an elbow escape properly from mount. Now let's look at what's going on in the rear. So let's change the positions. And some people, are better and they lock their legs. If someone has their legs locked, we won't be able to do the hip escape. So let's look at the footwork that we need to make this all work. All right, so Paul has his hips in, he's got his legs locked underneath us. Hip escapes don't work and elbow escapes don't work if the legs are locked. So really simple, we still keep our arms in, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna search for his heel. Once we find his heel, we break the lock, okay? And then we bring our foot right inside. We wanna maintain inside position, this inside real estate. And this is a little battle here that can go on. He can relock, no problem. I just open it and get my feet inside. Now from here, I want to make sure that my knee goes under his shin here. So I do my rising bridge, all right, and I get the inside of my palm on his knee, but I make sure that my knee ends up under his shin, okay? And I can do this with my shoelaces here, controlling. So I hit my bridge, and look, I have my knee underneath. And now I capture, like a little triangle, push with my hands, and raise my knees to the roof. And that creates a lot of room right here. And so now from here, you have a lot of options, okay? But I like an underhook, half guard. Ideally, we get this frame here on the bicep, and we can go to clamp, we can come to butterfly, you can even come to close guard. All right, so those are the main details that we need to escape mount. This is one of the most reliable escapes, gi and no gi. The kip is also very effective, but it's a bit more advanced and it's less useful in the gi. This works in all realms of jiu-jitsu and is one of the most fundamental escapes that we need to know. All right, thank you.